The rise of the llama, from Andean royalty to internet sensation. Hello everyone, I'm Poppy Science. I don't know when it started, but llamas have suddenly become incredibly popular. They're even called the internet's magical beast, or grass mud horse, right? I still haven't figured out why they're called that. Whatever the reason, they're undeniably charming. These creatures have a very strange physique. Their bodies are similar to sheep, but their necks seem way too long for their bodies. And compared to their necks, their heads appear quite small. Their legs also seem a bit short. Their furry coats remind you of sheep, but their necks make you think of horses. It's a truly bizarre combination. Then, there's their facial expressions and their unique gait, which somehow make them incredibly funny. Llamas are simply a very comical animal, but in reality, llamas weren't born to be funny. In their Andean homeland, they had a glorious past during the Inca Empire. They and their relatives once ruled the highlands. Their ancestors still live in the Andes Mountains at altitudes over 4,000 meters. They are shrouded in mystery and are a source of rare and valuable resources. So in today's show, we're going to delve deeper into the world of llamas. Although they don't look like it, llamas, as their name suggests, are actually a kind of camel. In biological classification, they belong to the family Camelidae under the order Artiodactyla. They're related to our familiar desert ship, the camel. So, it's easy to assume that they came from the Eurasian continent. Perhaps during a period when the Bering Strait was traversable, they spread to the American continent, just like humans did. Then, they evolved into the South American camelids, the llamas. This explanation seems plausible. However, archaeologists in North America have unearthed incredible fossil evidence. They discovered that camels actually originated in North America about 40 to 45 million years ago. Later, a branch of this lineage wandered through the Bering Strait and became the Eurasian camels. Another branch then moved south, crossing the Panama Isthmus and arriving in South America. Ironically, the camels in their place of origin, North America, couldn't adapt to environmental changes and eventually went extinct. That's how it happened. Upon reaching South America, these camels gradually evolved into the amazing llama family. There are 4 existing species in the llama family. One is the most popular, the llama itself. Another is called the guanaco, or llama, which is a direct translation from its English name. The guanaco isn't as adorable as the llama. It's much larger and can weigh over twice as much as a llama, reaching up to 200 kilograms. It looks more like a camel, but without a hump. In terms of ears, the guanaco has longer ears that curve inward, resembling 2 bananas. The llama's ears are shorter and have a point at the front, which helps differentiate the two. Both the llama and the guanaco were domesticated by humans. This means they are 2 types of livestock. Until the arrival of Europeans, they were the only 2 domestic animals in South America. Imagine that. In Eurasia, we have pigs, cows, horses, sheep, chickens, ducks, geese, and many other domesticated animals. But none of these existed in South America. They only had llamas and guanacos. The guanaco, with its strength, was mainly used for work, pulling carts, grinding grain, and plowing fields, similar to the role of donkeys, horses, and oxen. The smaller llama, on the other hand, was primarily raised for shearing its wool to make clothes, blankets, and other textiles. Some were also raised for their meat, similar to pigs and sheep. So these 2 livestock species were extremely important to the native South Americans and the Inca Empire. When the Spanish invaded the New World, they wiped out the Inca Empire. Some of the native population was killed, while others succumbed to foreign diseases. Most did not survive. The same fate befell the llamas and guanacos. The Spanish brought horses, donkeys, sheep, and other livestock with them, which also brought diseases to the llamas. It's estimated that 98% of the llamas disappeared along with the native population. Only a small number survived in remote highlands and eventually evolved into the llamas and guanacos we see today. Now, who were the wild ancestors of llamas and guanacos, these domesticated animals of South America? Let's continue our exploration. The puma is a legendary cat known for its adaptability. They're found from Alaska in the north to the tip of South America. They inhabit rainforests, deserts, plains, and plateaus, wherever their prey is found. Speaking of the Andean plateaus, one of their most common prey is the guanaco. standing over a meter tall at the shoulder, with a body length exceeding 2 meters and weighing over 100 kilograms, it's clear that the guanaco was the ancestor of the guanaco. The guanaco, lacking a hump, doesn't look as robust as a camel. They're more agile, thanks to the puma, because their main defense strategy is running. As apex predators, pumas can reach speeds of 80 kilometers per hour. The guanaco isn't to be underestimated either, reaching speeds of 50 to 60 kilometers per hour. On the wild plains of Africa, these speeds might not be extraordinary, but at altitudes of 3,000 to 5,000 meters, such speed is truly impressive. The guanaco's blood has 4 times the concentration of red blood cells as humans, a direct result of adapting to low oxygen environments. Even if the guanaco is outrun and overtaken by a puma, it's not necessarily doomed. After all, they weigh twice as much as pumas. Their lives spent climbing have given them strong legs, so it's not easy for a puma to bring down a guanaco. Additionally, the guanaco's neck has incredibly thick and tough skin, specifically designed to withstand the attacks of pumas. This offers some protection, allowing them to endure several attacks. Overall, it's not easy for a puma to hunt a guanaco. They don't always succeed. It's not uncommon for a guanaco to kick the puma, leaving it with a wound. This fierce, high-altitude beast, when domesticated by humans, became the modern guanaco. Now, the llama's ancestor also lived in the highlands. Locals called it the vicuña, which translates to little llama in Chinese. The vicuña is the national animal of Peru and is depicted on their national coat of arms. Its size is completely unlike that of a camel. It resembles an antelope, being very small and weighing only around 50 kilograms. South Americans domesticated the vicuña into the llama, but they still hold a strong affection for the wild vicuña. Why? Because of their wool. The vicuña's wool is considered one of the finest in the world, with a diameter of approximately 12 micrometers. To put that into perspective, cashmere is about 14 to 19 micrometers in diameter. Vicuña wool is even finer than cashmere, comparable to Angora rabbit wool and Tibetan antelope wool. It has exceptional warmth, but because the vicuña is a wild animal, its wool grows slowly, needing 2 to 3 years to be sheared. This results in a very low yield. In the Inca Empire, clothes made from vicuña wool were only allowed to be worn by royalty and nobility. It was illegal for ordinary people to wear them. It was that exclusive. Later, humans hunted vicuñas for their wool, leading to a decline in their population. In 1974, Peru was left with only about 6,000 vicuñas. Thanks to legal protection, their population has gradually recovered to around 350,000. Although hunting is prohibited, the commercial value of vicuña wool still attracts many merchants. So what do? They revive the tradition of human fences. They use a rope stretching for a kilometer or two to gather wild vicuñas, shear them, and then release them back into the wild. Merchants then purchase the vicuña wool at high prices, boosting local incomes. This incentivizes locals to protect the vicuñas. It seems like a good system. Of course, the vicuña wool obtained through such laborious efforts doesn't come cheap. A sweater is said to cost around 2,000 pounds, and a scarf could cost 1,000 pounds. It's definitely a luxury item. It seems like we can't afford vicuña wool. Compared to it, ordinary llama wool seems more affordable. As livestock for the indigenous people of South America, the llama's greatest value lies in its wool. Llama wool is incredibly soft, fine, warmer than sheep wool, and more skin-friendly, reducing the risk of allergies. It's also better at absorbing moisture and wicking away sweat than sheep wool. It's often called poor man's cashmere. Simply put, it's amazing. Therefore, raising llamas as a substitute for sheep has attracted the attention of many. Are llamas easy to raise? Actually, they are. Their ancestors came from the high plateaus, so they have strong survival instincts. They're not picky eaters. Llamas also have the advantage of being gregarious. Anyone who's played Minecraft knows this. If you lead one away, a whole herd will follow. So herding them is relatively easy. Plus, llamas are much larger than sheep and aren't afraid of wolves, foxes, or other predators. Raising them is stress-free. Llamas also have a unique habit that other livestock don't share. They have a communal toilet. What does that mean? Llama herds have specific areas where they defecate and don't scatter their droppings. They usually relieve themselves away from their grazing spots. It's said that this reduces the spread of parasites. They're incredibly hygienic. Definitely a high-quality livestock animal, right? So, from the 1990s onwards, raising llamas became a huge trend. In America, people were promoting the benefits of llamas everywhere. TV commercials showed people sipping coffee indoors while llamas grazed outside. They'd shear them, count the money, and become rich. Who wouldn't be tempted? Many farmers wanted to join the bandwagon. At the time, local governments were encouraging llama farming, offering tax breaks. Essentially, it was like burying money in llama dung, with the government footing the bill. This completely ignited the llama craze. At its peak, the average price for a breeding llama was over $20,000. The most outrageous sales reached $600,000 to $700,000 per llama. It was pure madness. So, is the future of llama farming really that bright? Some have poured cold water on the enthusiasm. For example, in 2007, Richard Sexton of the University of California published a study analyzing the situation. He found that those who profited from llama farming didn't make money from selling llama wool, but from selling baby llamas and luring more people into the industry. It was classic speculation. Furthermore, equipment used to process llama wool is not compatible with sheep wool equipment. There are very few large-scale llama wool processing plants in America. You might even have to export the wool to Peru for processing. This makes it difficult to turn a profit because Peru has over 3 million llamas, meaning both their breeding and processing costs are far lower than those in America. Conversely, if American merchants want llama wool, they can simply import it from Peru. There's no need to buy it at high prices from American farmers who are raising llamas on a large scale. Hoping to make money by selling llama wool is simply unrealistic. So in 2014, the bubble burst. The price of llamas plummeted by 90%. Female llamas cost $1,000 each, while males cost $200 each. They weren't even selling. Many people lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is similar to the story of ostriches we discussed previously. Decades ago, people touted the benefits of ostriches, saying that ostrich meat was better than beef and ostrich eggs were better than chicken eggs. In the end, only those who sold baby ostriches made money. Those who hoped to sell meat or eggs lost their investments. Ostrich farming ultimately didn't take off. So, expecting llamas to replace sheep is probably not a realistic hope. However, llamas still hold promise in some unexpected areas. In our previous episode, we talked about donkeys. Millions of wild donkeys have become an invasive species in Australia. Some were culled, some were targeted for their hides, and some were fortunate enough to be brought back to farms. What for? They became guards for sheep. That's right, donkeys have an inherent dislike for wild dogs. They see them and want to kick them. So, many farmers raise donkeys to ward off wild dogs. It's incredibly effective. During that segment, many viewers commented that llamas could also act as guards. And they're right. Some ranches in the American West keep llamas, especially guanacos, to guard their sheep. Like donkeys, they also have a natural aversion to canines, including coyotes, foxes, and even domesticated dogs. They see them and want to chase them away. They don't just protect sheep, they can also be used to guard calves, chickens, and other livestock. It seems like the smaller the animal, the more protective the llamas become. So many ranchers have llamas accompany their animals during the birthing season. As soon as the lambs and calves are born, the llamas get protective, guarding them like their own children. They're also tall, giving them good vision, and very alert, making them quick to detect threats. Upon spotting an intruder, they'll issue a warning, a very high-pitched call that usually scares away the enemy. If the warning doesn't work, they charge forward, kicking and headbutting to drive the intruder away. They never back down or give in. They're incredibly responsible. When a llama is warning off an intruder, there's a famous scene that everyone knows: spitting. In reality, llamas may not just spit saliva. If you really anger them, they might vomit up the contents of their stomach. This can include green, sticky mucus mixed with chewed grass, stomach acid, and other things. Now, when you think about it, could grass mud horse be referring to this? This explanation makes the nickname sound less offensive. Nowadays, the popular saying is "cute is justice," right? And if you're looking for a country that truly believes in this, it's Japan. So, the cute llama has gained enormous popularity in Japan. For example, some companies offer llama rental services. Young couples can rent a llama for their weddings or parties. It's a way to liven up the atmosphere and take some photos. In this age of social media and everyone posting photos and videos, it's very popular. Another example is in Portland, USA, where two llamas, Napoleon and a guanaco named Rojo, have gained some fame. They're always dressed up in fancy clothes and have a busy schedule. What do? They provide therapeutic services to those who need companionship or emotional support. Llamas are very gentle and quiet, and their cuteness is irresistible to everyone, regardless of age or gender. Anyone who sees them feels a sense of comfort. So Rojo and Napoleon are often taken to nursing homes, rehabilitation centers, and other places. They're friendly with everyone and have a signature move called the carrot kiss. They're absolute professionals when it comes to making people happy. Then there's a llama restaurant in Shenyang, China. When you eat there, you have a llama companion at your table. It makes the dining experience different, right? You can feed it carrots and interact with it while you eat. It's much more fun than just watching a llama at the zoo. Some more creative companies, with a wild imagination, even raise llamas in their offices. It's said to help alleviate employee stress. I don't know if it's true, but having one of these creatures roaming around the office certainly makes the atmosphere more lively. As livestock that once belonged to the Inca Empire, the llama has transformed into a beloved creature, making this a very successful transition.